Greetings, Planeswalkers. CardTyrant here with kind of, I guess, a PSA or my thoughts on things. But anyway, Ixalan released about a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and with it, they updated the Planeswalker role. Why Wizards of the Coast did this is kind of beyond me. Um, as a commander player, that rule kind of protected us commander players against people abusing the planeswalkers, which are already somewhat powerful cards as it is, and making it to where you can have multiples on the field, making them legendary, quote unquote, kind of made them overpowered. Um, Being able to play as many Jaces or even Gideons. I know there's a lot of Gideon tribal now, which is a thing. Um, Makes using them kind of abusive. And I know I want to say it was Mark, the one of the lead designers, who actually wants to get rid of planeswalkers. Now, I know in the past they've tried to experiment with different cards and kind of go out of their way and get new and interesting mechanics out. But I like the Planeswalkers. Don't get me wrong. Watley's by far my favorite. Yes, I'm a dinosaur commander. All about those dinos. Um, Sarkhan Vol, he's really useful for dragon commanders. And there's a bunch of other commanders that are planeswalkers that I like to use in commander, and I feel that making it to where you can have a tribal commander deck makes them a little broken, if you ask me. And making it taking away the planeswalker uniqueness rule where you can only have one Jace on the field at a time, on your side of the field anyway, not on your opponent's, because they got rid of that. I think want to say that was a rule at one time where there can only be one Jace on the field. Period. Um, I know they got rid of that legendary rule where that way you can't just you use a creature to murder another creature, and I thank them for that because there are a lot of people out there that use specific legendary creatures, and I know I'm a commander player, so when I go up against another person using the same commander as me, I don't want to risk getting my commander killed when I need it out the most. So I am thankful for that being a rule, but making it to where I can have multiple Jaces on the field or Watleys on the field, uh, to me that seems a bit much. I don't know if they're just trying to make it to where players revolt against the planeswalkers and just say, "Hey, no more," which I don't know what they will do then because planeswalkers are already a thing. You can't just hit Alt Control Delete on something that you already created. So I don't know. I know one of the main people. I want to say it was Mark Rosewater. Um, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I follow him on Twitter. You would think I'd know his name by now. He doesn't actually tweet a lot, as a side note. But I don't know. I don't like the new rule for planeswalkers. Maybe I'm biased. Maybe everyone's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's a great rule." Me, not so much. I'm not a big fan of being able to play tribal planeswalker. I don't know. Maybe I'm just strange, but it used to be a rule for all the new planeswalkers out there who are playing. It used to be a rule where planeswalkers were very unique cards, and you could only have one Jace or one Gideon and things like that, or one Chandra, Nisa, Nicol Bolas, which is a very broken card, might I add. My wife runs two of the three Nicol. Oh, excuse me. Two of the three Nicol Bolases in her deck, and having one on the field is bad enough, but being able to have both Nicol Bolas Planeswalker and Nicol Bolas the God Pharaoh, it's a bit broken. I already have issues with one. I don't need both. And I know she's looking at the other Nicol Bolas card, and it's just like, all three of those on the field, kinda overpowered. And then, of course, the Gideon tribals, where you can have multiple Gideons, and all you got, and there's one Gideon. I want to say It's a -5 ability. I don't remember. I should Google it. I should have had all my information and to argue against this new rule and hopefully get them to revert back to the Planeswalker uniqueness rule. But I don't know. I fear for it. Super Friends and Commander are going to be very overpowered now. Maybe they're doing it just to raise the price of Planeswalkers. I don't know. I've as a Commander player, I worry about it. I haven't played against my wife's Super Friends deck. She's been really busy trying to fine tune her cat equipment deck. Although I have a feeling it's going to just turn into an equipment deck and get rid of all the cats. We don't know yet. We're still trying to. Well, she's fine tuning it. I'm actually leaving it alone. Normally I help her with her decks, like her Super Friends deck, but this deck I'm kind of stayed away from. I don't know. I'm trying to get it to where my wife can start building her own decks. I know Commander's kind of a hard format to build around sometimes, but so far she's doing good. But back to the original moment of this conversation. The Planeswalker uniqueness rule made it to where Planeswalkers, you had to play strategically. You had to think, oh, well, I need this Planeswalker out, but if I play him, I'm going to lose this Planeswalker. And it really defined Planeswalkers as a card. But now you can have multiple. Flavor-wise, that can't happen. You can't just summon Jace 3 different times and have all 3 Jaces. Well, I guess Jace is a bad example because he can create illusions of himself now, which is a bit much. The poster boy of Magic is becoming really overpowered. But Gideon, he can't make clones of himself. So why all of a sudden? I really want to know what Magic, the people at Wizards of the Coast, were thinking about when they made this a new thing. Um, I'm against it. I'm sorry to say. Normally, I am all for what Wizards does. I'm a big, hey, Wizards is doing this. That's awesome. Like the dinosaurs. I jumped all over the dinosaurs. I'm a huge dinosaur person, and it's just like, yeah, dinosaurs. All right. The inner kid of me is just screaming, and my wife is just like, oh my god, our bank account's just doomed, which it is. But the Planeswalker uniqueness rule, which was, I'm looking at it right now. Um, 205.3J was the original ruling. But the Planeswalker uniqueness rule is no longer a thing, and they still have it in the rules. So, what's up with that? Because I'm looking at the official rules, which the 3 websites that I'm on right now, I will link in the description down below. That way you guys have access to them, and you're not like, oh, well, he's just pulling this out of thin air. But I don't know. I don't normally question Wizards a lot of the time. Um, I'm not like a lot of people are like, oh, this needs to be critiqued or something. But this is a bit much for Commander wise. I don't think it'll impact Standard as much because I've noticed that in Standard there's not a lot of Planeswalker activity. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I definitely know it's not going to affect draft because the chances of drafting multiple of the same, like, different Planeswalkers of the same name are impossible unless you draft in different sets that have the same Planeswalker, which, again, is pretty hard to come by. And then, of course, you have this format that I play the most, Commander. I still think it's overpowered. Being able to have 5 Jaces on the field or use Gideon's emblem to where you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game as long as you control a Gideon. And then you have like 20 Gideons in your deck, which Gideon is a pretty um, multiple planeswalker. I'm trying to think of what the word I'm plentiful planeswalker because I think he's up to 10, maybe a little less, but he's got a lot of cards. And then of course he's in white, so you can reoccur him constantly. So Gideon Tribal is definitely a thing that, you know, happens in Commander now, and it, to me, it just feels icky. I don't like it. And then of course Jace is probably going to be a tribal real soon. I don't know about Chandra. Chandra doesn't have. She's got good planeswalkers, but she doesn't have the best. Liliana is a real popular planeswalker, so she'll probably be a tribal, but she's not. She doesn't have all the good planeswalkers like Jace or Gideon. So I don't know. I'm really against this new rule. I know it's been out for a few weeks now as of uploading this video, and I don't know, maybe this is just Wizards' way of trying to get the players against the Planeswalkers and try to get us to say, hey, get rid of Planeswalkers altogether. Okay. I don't know. It feels like there's a plot. There's some underlying reasoning for them to make this a rule, and they haven't revealed it yet. And if they do, I'll probably make a video and say, hey, you know, Wizards actually did something right, and I was wrong to question them. But I don't think I'm wrong to question them on this. I think they are slowly destroying Planeswalk. That's my conspiracy theory. I'll probably label this as the Planeswalker conspiracy because I honestly think they're trying to get rid of Planeswalkers, and this is their way of doing it. They want to do it in kind of a sneaky manner to where they make it to where players don't want them anymore. And am I okay with that? Not really. I think once you introduce something, you shouldn't get rid of it, especially if players like it and use it. And I don't know why they would want to do that, especially since they just got rid of the intro decks, unless they want to bring back the intro decks. I personally wasn't a fan. I think in all of Magic's history, I've only bought 2 intro decks. No, 3 intro decks, because I bought the Rakdos intro deck. I bought the red-black Journey into Nyx intro deck and turned it into my Minotaur. I don't know why my brain's decided to turn off all of a sudden, but I turned it into my Minotaur tribal standard deck at the time, my first and only standard deck. And then of course I bought the Samurai deck back when it came out. But other than that, I really haven't bought any intro decks. They never had cards that I was like, oh, I have to have this. So I never wasted my money. Now, the Planeswalker cards have exclusive cards, and I am a collector. And if they get rid of them, I don't know what they would use to fill the void. I guess bring back the intro decks. But if memory serves, they said the intro decks were not helping their financial. They were hurting because they were printing all these products and then never selling them. So why would you bring back something if it's not working? That's like the deck building toolkits that they have. I don't know why they even make those a thing, because no one that I know buys them. There's never anything that they want out of them. And most of the cards anymore I don't think are standard. I think they're just pretty much, hey, here's you a starter deck. Enjoy. I mean, I haven't bought it in years, but I'm pretty sure most of the cards in there weren't even standard legal. And you got like 2 or 3 booster packs? I don't remember. Like I said, it's been a while, so that's my thoughts on the Planeswalker uniqueness rule being thrown out, and they brought in the legendary Planeswalkers, because they even changed the types now. Because now they're no longer just Planeswalkers, they're legendary Planeswalkers. Now, I know they probably did that for Jace's new mechanic where he makes copies of himself, but I don't know. I think they're trying to kill Planeswalkers. That is my honest to God opinion. I think they are trying to kill off the Planeswalkers, and I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I like Planeswalkers. I use Planeswalkers all the time, but to kill them off just seems a bit much. So I'm torn. I don't know if I like this new rule. I don't know if I hate it. So we'll see in the upcoming months. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think Wizards is trying to kill off the Planeswalkers? Because if so, why do you guys think that? I think it's because someone in the head ups just said, "Hey, let's get rid of Planeswalkers." Even though that's where they make their money. Most of the expensive cards and sets are Planeswalkers or really broken cards. And then once they rotate out of standard, they kind of drop down $10, $20. And then, boom, next thing you know, they go up because they're in modern or vintage. Um, a lot of commander staples aren't that expensive. Some are, some aren't. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think this is a big conspiracy theory or a conspiracy against the Planeswalkers where someone in the high ups are like, hey, let's just get rid of Planeswalkers? So we got to get everyone to hate them before we can get rid of them. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. As always, check me out on Puka Trade. I have a bunch of cards listed right now. I'm trying to finish my Ixalan Park deck. I'm about 43% there. So help me out that way. I'm also on CardRockt. Most of the cards on CardRockt that I sell, they're all over $5. If they're under $5, I'm actually working on getting rid of all the cards that are under about $5. $4 cards are going to be there, but anything over $5 you can definitely find there. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook I use to pretty much tell you guys, hey, this is what's going on in my deck building life. This is where I'm going to be, things like that. Twitter, same thing. I pretty much thank people for sending me cards on Puka Trade. I always shout them out. I'm also on Tapped Out. You can see all the decks that I have, all my deck projects that I'm working on. What else am I on? I'm on a lot of things anymore. I don't even know what all I'm on. Oh, that's actually it. Puka Trade, CardRockt, YouTube, which you guys are clearly there. You're watching me now. Facebook, and of course I'm going to have all this listed down below. So, thank you guys for watching, and as always, have a nice day.